Should you get an iPhone 16 or an iPhone 17? Here's how the phones might stack up against each other. The new iPhone from Apple is likely to come out in September. Is it worth the time? There are two primary options if you want to get a new iPhone right now. You can either buy an iPhone 16 right away or wait a little longer for Apple's next iteration, which is slated to come out in a few weeks. Which way is better? The iPhone 17 is expected to come out in September. If you can wait, you might want to get the new phone or obtain the iPhone 16 at a lower price. There are still no official specs or features for the iPhone 17, and Apple hasn't verified that it exists. However, rumors and speculation say that it could be similar to the iPhone 16. Comparing the rumored specs of the iPhone 16 and iPhone 17. We still don't have any official facts about the iPhone 17, but that hasn't prevented the rumor mill from spinning and supposed leaks from making the rounds. There is a lot of speculation about the whole iPhone 17 line, from the Pro versions to what may be a smaller Air version, which could be Apple's answer to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge. But I'm going to focus on the standard iPhone 17. 1. Screen differences. One of the most highly expected modifications could be that the iPhone 17 includes a 120Hz display, which would be extremely nice. Currently, only the iPhone Pro models feature that higher refresh rate, while the Basic and Plus versions are stuck with a 60Hz display. Bumping that refresh rate could also encourage Apple to bring the always-on display to the standard model, making it easier to swiftly peek at the time and your alerts without waking your display. There's been some back and forth on whether the iPhone 17 will have a scratch-resistant anti-reflective display. But the most current sources claim the functionality will only be available on the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, not the baseline iPhone 17. So there may not be huge variations between the iPhone 16 and 17 on that front. 2. Camera differences. It's probable the iPhone 17 selfie camera will get a raise to 24 megapixels instead of the current 12 megapixels seen in the iPhone 16's front-facing shooter. Megapixels aren't the only determining factor for good quality images, but if it is an advance, that might make capturing selfies or shooting videos for social media on the front-facing camera less of a sacrifice. There's also been considerable debate about the camera boost on Apple's forthcoming iPhone series. It's likely that only the Pro model's cameras will be tucked in a new, bigger display that runs horizontally across the back of the phone, and that the Basic will maintain a similar camera configuration to the iPhone 16. Only time will tell. 3. Design discrepancies. Rumors say that like the iPhone 16, the iPhone 17 will have an aluminum frame. In fact, it's possible that'll be the case for the entire range, save from the iPhone 17 Air, which could have a titanium frame to make it lighter. There have also been claims that the iPhone 17 will use a new small metalens technology for the proximity sensor, which might lower the size of the Face ID sensor and the dynamic island. That could give significantly extra real estate to the top of the 17's display. 3. Processor and RAM. One major aspect that could remain unchanged across both phones is the processor. The iPhone 17 is speculated to have an A18 chip, just as the iPhone 16. With Apple's aspirations to enhance its Apple Intelligence suite of AI capabilities, it's feasible the iPhone 17 series might come with 12 gigs of RAM instead of the present 8 gigs, or at least part of it could. In April, analyst Ming-Chi Kuo predicted the iPhone 17 Air and Pro variants would wear 12 gigs of RAM, but that Apple was still contemplating whether to equip the baseline model with that greater amount too. In May, analyst Jeff Pu suggested the baseline would remain at 8 gigs. We'll have to wait to see what Apple ultimately chooses. Speaking of Apple Intelligence, a new AI-powered adaptive power feature launching with iOS 26 can help conserve the battery by making small performance adjustments, including allowing some activities to take a little longer, according to Apple. The next iPhone is expected to arrive with the forthcoming operating system on board, but you'll also be able to download iOS 26 on the iPhone 16, as well as some previous iPhones, once it becomes accessible publicly. That should assist to stretch your battery life on either device. 4. Color options. What's on the inside may be most crucial, but people also want to know what interesting colors the iPhone 17 could flaunt. Rumors claim the forthcoming device could come in black, blue, silver, purple, and green. For comparison, the iPhone 16 is available in black, white, pink, teal, and ultramarine. Everything we think we know about the iPhone 17 is still just rumor, so we'll have to see what Apple shows this fall. 5. How much will the iPhone 17 cost? Apple's announced aim to recruit US-based manufacturing partners looks to give it at least some insulation from the highest Trump administration tariffs that have already forced price spikes on everything from Switch consoles to high-end cameras to Sonos speakers. But given that President Trump's trade policy might change from week to week, and Apple's continuous reliance on Asia-based supply chains, price surprises remain an ongoing risk. The greater concern is, will Apple absorb any extra costs or pass them on to consumers? If costs do creep up, Apple may choose to match it with an upgrade. Consider this latest claim reported by Mac Rumors from a leaker identified as Instant Digital, suggesting that the default storage of the iPhone 17 series may start at 256 gigs, double the current 128 gigs baseline. While that could be accompanied by a price rise of $50, Apple could at least promote it as a better value. That said, the business raised the default RAM of its Mac computers from 8 gigs to 16 gigs at no extra cost in 2024, but that was before the current Trump tariff. 6. What will iOS 26 be like? Apple appended its numbering standards with Worldwide Developers Conference 2025 and will match the name of each new operating system to the year it's released. So when the next wave of iPhones hits, they'll be running on iOS 26. On the design side, the smartphone OS presented during the large developer showcase used a disputed approach termed liquid glass. Apple has been toning down the amount of transparency effects in the successive beta tests of iOS 26, although it will still have a glass-like look. The feature list contains significant and little updates. On the more significant side, the phone and Photos applications have been overhauled. There will be various innovations employing artificial intelligence, including as live translation capabilities coming to phone, FaceTime, and messages. Apple is also now testing a sensitive content warning for child accounts that will stop FaceTime video if nudity is identified by on-device machine learning algorithms. And the company is also developing visual intelligence, which will utilize AI to search for elements in an image. iOS 26 also features a litany of minor quality-of-life enhancements. Group texts are garnering support for polling, and for the sluggish risers out there, iOS 26 will finally allow you to escape the prison of the 9-minute snooze alarm. The latest iOS is currently available as a public beta. Here are our initial impressions on the liquid glass design and other new features. iOS 26 is compatible with all models back through iPhone 11. Should you buy an iPhone 16 now or wait for the iPhone 17? If you're in severe need of a new phone and can't wait any longer, who am I to stop you? But if you can sit tight until September, when Apple is likely to reveal the iPhone 17, you may either score the dazzling new device or get a discount on the iPhone 16. In prior years, the business decreased the price on older models by roughly $100. It's probable the modifications between the iPhone 16 and 17 will be very small. Apple likes to introduce fresh features on its Pro models before eventually pushing them out throughout the complete lineup, like it did with the dynamic island on the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max, and the action button on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. So any sparkling new features will certainly appear on its more costly phones first, including as the reported anti-reflective display and updated cameras on the iPhone 17 Pro versions. But arguably the largest changes could happen next year with the 20th anniversary of the iPhone, for which Apple is apparently preparing a major shakeup of the phone's appearance, according to Bloomberg. That includes a long-rumored foldable version and a bold new Pro model that makes more extensive use of glass. The iPhone 17 may not even be unveiled yet, but it's never too early to be looking even further forward. Next, the iPhone 17 cases surfaced again, indicating Apple is fighting its own past blunders. Apple is on the verge of announcing the iPhone 17 series, while we wait for the big day, likely September 9. Leaks are filling in more and more of the image. The new batch of leaks isn't only about the phones themselves, but also about the accessories Apple wants to launch alongside them. Reportedly, these new cases will launch alongside the iPhone 17 series as the direct replacement to fine woven. The concept is still fabric-based, but this time Apple is looking for stronger durability and improved everyday usability. As we already shared with you yesterday, the suspected case colors include black, brown, blue, green, purple, orange. The surface includes a dense, slightly rough weave meant to improve grip and cut down on wear. Apple is supposedly seeking to reduce glossing, keeping the casing looking constant even after weeks of use. The buttons are reported to be metallic with increased tactile feedback, and the casings themselves should be fully compatible with accessories. There are even 2 slots at the bottom edge designated for shoulder straps or add-ons. Looking at the leaked photographs, the colors appear more muted than spectacular, but they do pair well with the anticipated finishes of the iPhone 17 Pro and iPhone 17 Pro Max. What is unclear for now is how the cases will look for the standard iPhone 17 or the brand new iPhone 17 Air. But naturally, Apple will likely make sure they line up with the phone's color selections too. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.